Hey, what's up? My name is Timothy Jerome. I am a children's book author and a novelist, and also an avid reader, an avid audiobook listener. And I actually, because of all the Wicked drama and the Wicked premiere and promo and everything, I decided to listen to the audiobook of Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West, which is what the play and the movie are based off of. Mind you, I think the actual director of the play, they read the book like one time or maybe read a few chapters and thought, hey, I should make a play based off of the Wicked Witch of the West and make her seem less evil. And then they did their whole entire thing. So the book and the movie are two totally different things, which I didn't know before reading it. But it's a crazy book. It has a lot of twists and turns. I feel like the book, it tackles a lot of different, a lot of heavy topics like racism, as we know, more morality. It talks about classism. It talks about a whole entire bunch of different topics that I was very much taken off guard by. The book was 19 hours long, 560 pages. There were a lot of crazy moments, like it held my attention, but there were a lot of slow moments as well, I'm not going to lie. But overall, I would say it's a great book. So in this video, I kind of wanted to break down a few discrepancies, or basically like, things that the movie had and the show, and the movie had that the book didn't, or things that the book had that the movie didn't. The book was very explanatory, to the point where there were 3 chapters in the books on just Elphaba's parents before we even got to Elphaba. Yeah, a lot of information. But it was said that Elphaba's parents were cool. Her dad was a priest. Her mom was kind of out in the streets a little bit, I'm not going to lie, which is how she ended up sleeping with the Wizard of Oz. And he gave her some green elixir to drink, and she drank it, and that turned the baby green. And it was said that when baby Elphie was born, she had really sharp teeth, to the point where like her mom passed out before she gave birth to her, and Elphie actually bit off the nurse who birthed her fingers. Like she bit off her finger. Girl was crazy. Throughout her whole entire childhood, honestly, she didn't really talk a lot, or at least that's how the writer phrased it. And it wasn't until she got to school at Shiz that she was able to start having speaking roles and give her opinion. Like we didn't hear anything from her, literally. Her first real life like conversation with someone was actually with Galinda in her apartment, in like their dorm room. And mind you, Glinda was barely even in the book. Glinda was like in a good chapter of the book, like a good couple chapters. She was not in the book heavy at all. Like I was thinking, oh, we're gonna see like Glinda's story. No, we just see her at school. They're literally just roommates. It's not even like they're beefing at first. It was more so just like Glinda, she was like this upscaled, high fashion girl, of course, like, fancy, posh. And she, of course, didn't want to room with Elphaba. I forgot what exactly happened. It was some kind of miscommunication, and then they're rooming together. They weren't beefing. It was more so like Glinda wasn't really talking to her. And then one day and Elphaba was just reading all the time. And then Glinda was finally like, girl, what are you reading inside your book? Like, why are you always reading? And Elphaba was just like, it's just this book about this old, like, I think it was like an old sermon. And then they had this heavy conversation about like morality and what's good and wrong. Because, Elphaba's dad is a priest. So, like, they're talking about, so she would think that's all she really knew about Loki growing up. So, and of course, she was born green, so she had to deal with like a lot of adversity. So her view of the world and morality was a little bit skewed already. But basically, Glinda was just like, this hot girl. It kind of was. I would say the movies and the show make Glinda a little bit more mean and rude than she actually was. In real life, she was really chill. I'm saying in real life like she's a real character. In the book, she was really chill. She was just like a chill girl. Like, for example, the whole entire situation where they did the Oz Dust dance and she kind of embarrassed Elphaba, that was actually fake. What had actually happened was, it was like summer vacation and Elphaba was like staying on campus with like Bach and some of her other friends, because she was not like, a friendly girl. And Glinda was out like, I don't even know, some fancy place with her summer friends, with her pish posh friends. And Elphaba got like a message like, oh, you should come on down. Like Glinda wrote like, I love being here. I love being like, I don't even know where they were, like in this fancy place. It's so nice. All my friends miss you. I kind of miss you. You should come on down. Like, you should come. And basically, Elphaba didn't want to go, but Bach, he had a huge crush on Glinda, actually. So he was like, we should go. So they all went. And basically, when she pulled up, all her friends were laughing. And they were just like, oh my gosh, she actually came, because they pranked her. one of her friends like wrote a message to Elphaba saying like, "Oh, I miss you. You should come," as like a joke. And then Glinda was just like, "I would never invite you. I did not invite you." That was like the most spiteful thing that Glinda did. She was like, "I would never invite you here. That was never my plan. I would not do that." Because she, just like in the movie, she was trying to climb the social scale. She wanted to make a name of herself. So she was like, "This green girl to my function? No, I would never invite you." So that was like the most spiteful thing I would say that Glinda did. It wasn't that crazy, to be honest. And then after that was like in the summer between their freshman and sophomore year. And then after the sophomore year, she realized her friends were mad fake. And she was just like, "You know what? I'm gonna just hang out with Elphaba. I'm gonna just be chill with her. That's just my main girlfriend." And then that's when they really became best friends. So that's their whole entire story arc. And in the movie, just like how Dr. Dilmon, the goat guy, he had like a stutter and he said Galinda's name wrong. He said Glinda. And she was just like how she took that name. Literally, I think that's another same thing from the movie and the book too. She took the name based off respect for him. And mind you, the goat guy, Dr. Dilmon, he actually died. They killed him. That was a weird scenario. They killed him off. It was a lot of racism, but not real racism, like as in skin tone, but basically like discrimination between the animals and the humans. Like Dr. Morbo was like mad racist, and it was suspected that Elphaba thought that Dr. Morbo actually killed, or Dr. Morbo's assistant, Grammatic, I think it was called, killed Dr. Dilmon, who was the goat guy, the goat teacher. It was a whole lot of crazy stuff. It was really, really weird in the book. But they really did make me look at like, do I even respect animals in real life? But I know that's not the message, to respect animals, but it made me really think, like, I would say, and Elphaba was really, really strong with trying to support animal rights and stuff like that. She really, really bangs with the animals. And it is true that her and Glinda actually did go to see the wizard, and it wasn't to change her skin tone or anything. She went for the animals. Like, she went for the animals. And after that, it wasn't so... Like, she went to speak up for the animals, and the Wizard of Oz was just like, "Nah, like, I don't care." Like, he was like, "I don't really care." And it was just like, dang. And then after that, they were about to go on the train ride back home. She couldn't fly yet. That was in the movie. They were going to go back on the train. They took, like, weeks to take the train there, and they were going to take weeks to go back. And Glinda was like, "Come back with me. Let's go back to school." And Elphaba was just like, "Nah." And that was just it. So that was one discrepancy. Another discrepancy was that, basically before all that happened, before they even saw The Wizard of Oz, in their second sophomore year, it was actually Nessa Rose when she came, Elphaba's little sister. So it wasn't the flip like they did in the movie where Nessa Rose was going to school and then they said, "Oh, Elphaba, you're so strong, you should come to the school." That didn't happen. Elphaba went for the first year, and on the second year, her little sister came. And in the movie, in the show or whatever, she was in a wheelchair, of course. Not true in the book. She was not in a wheelchair. She actually had no arms, which is even like creepier. And like reading that and hearing her like walk around and maneuver, it's hard to picture someone do stuff without arms, but that was her thing. She didn't have any arms on her. And her whole entire life, people had to help her. Like, of course, Elphaba had to help her. They even had a nanny who took care of Elphaba's mom and took care of Elphaba come to Shiz to take care of Nessa Rose and just help out and stuff like that. So Nessa Rose, and it was said that Nessa Rose was extremely morale to the point where it was like annoying. Like, Nessa Rose was always devout. I don't even think Glinda liked her like that at first, because she was really like judgmental, harsh, and Elphaba didn't really care because she was like, "That's just my little sister." But she kind of gave like a "I'm better than thou" personality, Nessa Rose. So she was always kind of like annoying, I'm not gonna lie. So she had no arms, basically. And it was said that, of course, no one liked the daughter. Like, no one liked Elphaba when she was first born. Of course, no one liked her. She was green. No one bangs with her. Like, why is this girl green? She was like, a slip up in the family. And it is true, like how they said in the movie, that the mom, she took a lot of medicines and stuff like that that she wasn't really supposed to be taking in order to not have the same problem happen again, just for the daughter to lose both her arms. Bruh. After that, they all loved the daughter so much to the point where the dad actually got her the slippers. And funny enough, the slippers weren't ruby, which I wish they kind of were, because the ruby slippers are so iconic, they're so beautiful, they're so aesthetically pleasing, but they were just bejeweled slippers, and they're beautiful. And of course, Elphaba didn't try to let it get to her that her little sister got these beautiful slippers and she didn't, but of course, she was a little bit jealous and she coveted them, which leads to the end of her life, her trying to find the slippers and grab them. But basically, I'm trying to go like in order, but as you can see, I'm bouncing all over the place. Bear with me, y'all. Basically, after Elphaba left Shiz, it was like she was like 17, 18 when she left. The book is crazy, first of all. The book picks up and drops off at like really random places. And it goes through her whole entire life. And it also goes through different perspectives, which I really, really like. And it's also in my book, The Luna Case Studies. I love different perspective books where they go into like the perspective of this character and the perspective of this character and the perspective of this character. I love when they do that because it gives a lot of context. Like I feel like with some books, when it's only told from one point of view, you can only know so much of the story, you know? But I feel like with multi-point of views, with different point of views in a book, you can really see everything that's being talked about all throughout the book. And I feel like it's really, really cool. It feels more complete. And I feel like it's unfair that movies can do that, but books can't. But I mean, books can do that, actually. Books can do that. I just feel like it's being blocked from a single point of view. But back to the story. Basically, after that, after she leaves Shiz and runs away without Galinda, we pick up like 5 years later when she's like around 23. And at this point, Elphaba is like a hot girl. She's living in Emerald City. However, she's not living. She's living like in this like little hut cave thing. That's where she bumps into Fiyero, who is actually very much married. And they have actually like a little bit of a fling. They have a, what's the word for it? Not a fling. They have a affair bit together. And he's very married, but he was in the Emerald City on business, and he bumps into Elphaba. And at this time, she was by herself. She's in like the secrets, like it sounded like a secrets. I'm trying to look for the word again. I'm doing bad with words. She was in the secrets cults, and it seemed like Elphaba was like in a secret cult, basically. And that was her days. Like she was just in her cult. I'm pretty sure she was still standing up for animal rights, but she was just, you know, on the down low, just minding her business. And they ended up falling in love. Her and Fiyero ended up falling in love. The book was not short of explaining how much they loved each other, if you're picking up my drift. To the point where she actually got pregnant by Fiyero and had a kid. However, in everything, I can't tell you, I'm not gonna lie, the vocabulary went crazy. They're like, the perspications by your disorderly conduct is ostentatious of my philanthropic disposition of the colorization of the whatever the heck. It was mad complicated. I did understand a lot of things because, you know, I was an English teacher, but a lot of it was very, very confusing. And a lot of it, I feel like the writer purposely wrote some parts in the dark for you not to really understand what was going on, just leave a little bit of mystery. I say that all to say, one day Fiyero went to go visit Elphaba, like in her cave dungeon thing, and there were people hiding in the shadows, and they killed her. So that was really, they killed him, sorry, they killed Fiyero, which was really crazy. Of course, like Elphaba was distraught. Elphaba was so distraught that for years she didn't talk to anybody. Like she signed up as like, I think it was really weird for a couple chapters where she signed up to be like a worker, like a cleaner, like a maid for like this church or something like that. And she just spent her days not speaking, not saying anything at all. And she was just like sweeping and cleaning. She gave birth to her son, but was so delirious and out of it that she didn't even realize she gave birth to this boy. She was just out of it. I think she lived in another cave, and it was really weird. I say that all to say, a couple years later, she bumps into Fiyero's wife, his real wife, and she wants to apologize to her, but the wife is just like, no, I had enough sadness in my life, whatever you did to me. Like Elphaba's like, I have something really, really dark to tell you, like I have something bad to tell you. And the wife, her name is Sarima, she was like, I don't want to hear about it, just come stay, we need more support. It was like her kids, and also her sisters that stay with her. And of course, Fiyero's dead, and Elphaba was just like, I have bad news about Fiyero, I need to talk to you, and Sarima was like, no. So they end up being best friends, which was, of course, really, really weird. And it's also another theme that the book goes into, guilt. Elphaba carried a lot of guilt because she felt like she was responsible for Fiyero's death. So she felt really, really bad about it. She wanted to apologize to Sarima, but she couldn't get that. And Sarima was like, no, I'm not hearing it, da-da-da-da-da. Another thing that happened in the book that I kind of skipped over was that Madame Morrible actually told the girls that they were going to be witches. Also, another thing, in the movie, Glinda doesn't have any like magical abilities or anything like that. In the book, she kind of does. She's not like a huge, great, amazing sorceress, but she was able to make a sandwich explode, do little things here and there, not really, in the beginning. And Elphaba did not want to be a sorceress at all. Her dad was a priest. Why would she want to be a sorceress? Like, why would she want to go into witchcraft? I forgot what exactly she was doing. It was kind of boring what she wanted to study, but she didn't want to be a witch at all. However, Right before Elphaba ran away, Madame Morrible, the principal, actually told Nessa Rose, Galinda, and Elphaba that they were going to be adepts. Or basically, she prophesized what was going to happen. She was like, oh, in layman's terms, she told Elphaba, you're going to be the Wicked Witch of the West. She told Glinda, you're going to be the Witch of the East. And she told Nessa Rose, you're going to be the Witch of the East. And basically, the girls were just like, okay, like, Nessa Rose is mad religious already, so she was like, nah. Elphaba was like, I really don't care about this, like, witch stuff, like, I don't really care. But that ended up actually happening. And the funny thing is that with Elphaba running away, they weren't like royalty, but they kind of were like high class family. But with Elphaba the firstborn running away, Nessa Rose had to assume the position and become, I forgot what they called it, but basically like the head of the house. And in doing so, a lot of people hated her because she was in charge of like a whole entire city. It seemed like she was doing a lot of stuff out there. She was like bossing a bunch of people around. And plus she was very religious. She was very devout. So a lot of people hated her. They did not like her. And she would wear the special slippers all over the place. However, it was said in the book that Galinda actually enchanted the slippers so that it could give Nessa Rose a little bit more balance. Because without her arms, it was hard for Nessa Rose to do anything. It was hard for her to stand up straight. She always had to be She still had to sit in a wheelchair, I think, or helps around. However, with the shoes, she had her balance. Like, there was a time in the book where she was doing weird stuff. Like, she was able to kneel down and stand up and pray with people and do stuff without having any arms. And Elphaba was just like, how was she able to do this? And it was because of the slippers. Because the slippers were enchanted, they were special, which was more reason why Elphaba wanted it after her sister died. So upon hearing that Elphaba's sister died, she went to go visit Munchkinland just to visit her father, see what the vibe is out there, see what, like, you know, this is sad. And apparently all the people there were kind of happy that the Wicked Witch of the East died, because she was very annoying. She was too harsh. She was kind of like a tyrant over there. And she was talking to her dad, and apparently something she didn't know, and something that the readers didn't know until now, was that her parents were in a throuple with some random guy. So, like, rewind all the way to when Elphaba was like a kid. Elphaba, when she was really young, like, it was just her mom and Elphaba. Like, her dad was out on crusades, like, preaching and doing his pastorally stuff. And it was just Elphaba and her mom. And her mom hated her. She did not like her. She would just get drunk all day. And one day, this Quadling guy, I think he was kind of like poor. He kind of came. And he was a glassblower. And she accepted him in the house. And of course, one thing led to another, and they slept together. And the husband came, and the Quadling was just like, hey, I think his name was Turtleheart. He was like, hey, what's up? My name is Turtleheart. I'm super cool. What's good? And the dad was just like, hey, I'm Fregsley. What's up? And what had happened was the three of them were actually in a throuple. They both fell in love with this Turtleheart guy. So he told Elphaba when he was like, she was a grown lady. She was like, I don't want to hear about this. But while being in Munchkinland, I just thought that was an interesting tidbit, because it was just like, that is so unnecessary to add to the story. Like, why'd you add that to the Wizard of Oz story? That just shows a little bit about the writer too. He was a freak. He was kind of crazy. He was doing a lot. But I like how he was pushing the envelope and making it really interesting. It felt very old-timey, but also modern at the same time. Shout out to Gregory Maguire. He did what he had to do. I'm almost done with my breakdown. The last thing is like finding Dorothy and basically Elphaba's reaction to Dorothy. So everyone in Oz loved Dorothy. Everyone in Oz loved Dorothy to the point where she was so enchanting that she enchanted a scarecrow and also a Tin Man to come to life and follow her around. Isn't that so interesting? So in the book, I guess technically there weren't scarecrows and Tin Men walking around, but Dorothy was just so amusing. It was so amusing and beautiful and cool that she enchanted them to come follow her. So, of course, Elphaba didn't like her off the bat. She killed her sister, she stole her shoes, and everyone just loves this Dorothy girl who was like a killer. And she was like, so no one else is going to put this girl in jail? So she was like, looks like I'm going to have to do it by myself. So basically, as we were going on, Dorothy was kind of like a menace. I didn't read the future books, but they said that Dorothy was really, really annoying and judgmental. Don't know all the stories. I'm just going based off what I heard. In the book, however, Dorothy was very pure. The people around her were really spiteful, but it seemed like Dorothy was really sweet and kind. However, she did have a thing of killing all of all of Elphaba's like little pets and creatures. Like she had a swarm of bees and somehow Dorothy killed the bees. She had dogs, so she killed the dogs. She had crows, all the crows died. So Elphaba was just like, girl, every single time I see you, you're always killing all my animals. Like, what is wrong with you? And of course, in order to get home, the wizard told Dorothy she had to kill the witch. And then her son basically heard that through the grapevine. Like Elphaba's son heard that through the grapevine. Her son's name is Lear. And he was like, Mama. Well, he didn't call her Mama. He called her Elphaba. No, he called her Auntie. He called her Auntie Witch. He was like, Auntie, they're gonna kill you. And the Elphaba was just like, let her kill me. Let her come here and kill me. And basically, Dorothy pulled up, and she was just like, I just wanted to tell you, like, of course, like, Elphaba was just like, she was getting ready to fight. She was like, this girl's about to try to take me out. I'm not standing for it. But basically, Dorothy came up, and she was like, I just want to come tell you that I apologize. She was like, I killed your sister. I was really, really messed up to you. I'm so sorry that I did that. And the Elphaba was just like, what kind of trips and what kind of trick are you trying to do for me here? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't believe you at all. And basically, like, Dorothy felt bad. She was like, I'm sorry for killing your sister. Like, I shouldn't have done that. And then that's when Elphaba got crazy because she was just hating on this girl and now she's actually nice. So she was kind of spazzing out. Towards the end of the book, Elphaba was spazzing out. It was said that she was shaking a lot. She was like saying things to herself. She was kind of going like crazy. And it said that she was also sewing wings onto the backs of monkeys to help them fly. So yeah. So Elphaba was kind of losing her mind just a little bit, which was kind of sad to see. So towards the end, when Dorothy was trying to apologize, she was just like, I don't believe you, get out of here. And it looked like she was going to fight her. And of course, Dorothy picked up a pail of water, threw on Elphaba, and then it was done. And it said that a bunch of people cheered and were happy that Elphaba died. Oh, last thing. Glinda and Elphaba did talk one more time because when Elphaba went to go visit Munchkinland and see her sister, of course Glinda was up in the hood. So they caught up. It was said that, you know, it was friendly. Like they were chatting it up. They were caught up. Elphaba thought it was weird that Glinda was in this huge ball gown, this huge big feathery like bubble gown dress thing, and she was like how she was a bit of a spectacle. And apparently Glinda was a yapper and was kind of annoying too. And like so they caught up. They talked, but it was one of those things where you meet up with the old friend and you're just like, yeah, it was nice seeing you, but this is the last time we're ever going to see each other again. And they said that. They were like, and this was the last time Glinda and Elphaba ever talked to each other. And I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah. So, Glinda was barely really in the book. She was only there at Shiz for a little bit, and then they met a little bit at the ends, and she was, like, a little bit annoying. And that was it. But, yes. So, that is my very long-winded review of the long-winded book, Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire. I thought it was a great book, honestly. It tackled a lot of different stories. I like how it really did feel like you saw Elphaba's life. Like it went through all the different points of her life. That was a great story, a lot deeper than I thought it was. Even I got like a few principles and morals that I learned from the book. And it was good. I think it was a great story. I can't wait for the second movie. The first movie was great. The music, the singing was great. I'm obsessed with the soundtrack of Wicked. The first song, Ariana's opera singing is so beautiful. It's really, really cool. But I feel like you should also read Wicked or listen to the audiobook if you want to. It's really weird, but it's funny. It kept my attention for a while. So I would say that it'll do the same for you. Be sure to follow me, like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do. And read my book, The Luna Case Studies, Shattered Facades, that's up on Amazon now. Or Didn't You Hear? Homophones Are Here, my kids' book, which is up on Amazon now. Hope you have a great day. See you later.